What you doing, Johnson? This book / journal that I'm introducing you today, I guess was born out of the fact that we're all getting old, and with that getting older comes a change of status, and that change of status is becoming a grandparent. Now I have many family and friends that have reached that stage in their life. And very recently, a very dear friend of mine became a grandparent for the first time, and she was very excited. She was the mother of the dad of that little baby. Now when the baby was born, obviously all the fuss and all the attention is on the mother and the child, as it should be, the mother and the father and the child, as it should be. A new family is born. But the grandparents are excited. It's a whole new beginning. It's their mortality, their genes being carried on. It's an emotional time. Their child has had a child. I haven't had the pleasure, but I understand that it's a very emotional time. And I just couldn't find anything to record that feeling, to respect how she was feeling. I've always bought a Grandma's Brag book, which is, in actual fact, a little photo album. Bought a bottle of grandfather port, we've shared a meal, had a bottle of champagne, and that was that. But I could see it's worth more than that. I looked around, what is there? What have we got for grandparents to mark this occasion in their life? And I could find nothing. Nothing really worthy and personal. So I set about fixing that. So I thought I would prepare a journal for her. But then as I was doing this, it grew, and it started to grow. And so it's not, I started thinking about how did we first come to Australia, Australia being such a young country. The first Australians, our original people, our first fleeters, our Chinese people that came over here as merchants and in the gold rush, the Europeans that came and for our country to grow, both after the First World War and the Second World War, growing our country. And more recently, the boat people who've come from Asia, so many. It's what Australia's all about. So I thought back about our origins, and I thought how all those origins got mixed up, and how it affected us all, and who we went to school with, and who we played with, and what sort of prejudices there were or there weren't, and how did this prejudice affect people? How did people hide back then their origins? And I know that a lot of the Yugoslavs and Europeans, tried not to be different. And I guess that's the same today in lots of ways. So there was a whole part of emotion there. And so it became not just a history book, but in actual fact, a book of emotion, a book of family stories, a book of anecdotes, a book to record how your family came to Australia or grew within Australia, how personal your family is, how you came to be who you are today. And that's how it's all evolved. Now this book you may never finish. You may, when you get it, when you receive it, you may sit down and write madly because you're so full of emotion and want to get this down for your grandchild. You may do a bit now, and in a few years do a bit more, and in a few years do a bit more. You may never do any. Maybe it will just be a picture book, a discussion book, something that you can sit down and chat around the fire. Because I know that as I've shown the proof to people, they've got excited, go, oh, remember that, remember when that happened? Oh, when that happened, this is what happened in my family. And a whole lot of stories came out. And those stories, you can see these people in the reflection of their childhood and their upbringing and their teenage years and everything, forming them into the adult that they are today. So, however you choose to use this book, I have left the pages blank. I haven't put lines in. I personally like to write on an angle. I don't know why. Some people like to write straight. Some people don't want to write. They will want to simply to stick in photos. Some will want to do drawings. Some people will wish to do a mixture of all of them. So the pages are blank, so that you can use those pages any way that you want, with plenty of visual and word clues to help your memory joggers, to help you along the track. As I've mentioned, your family, where you came from, how you came to Australia, any anecdotal stories, anything at all that in future somebody will read and get excited about. Now I grew up in a small country town in the wheat belt of Western Australia. I remember as a little girl, I think I was about 6 when Mum first let me use the telephone, and it was up on the wall, and it was up quite high, and I remember standing on my tiptoes and reaching up and taking the earpiece off and then ringing the handle, and then a voice at the other end would say, number please, and I would tell them what number I wanted, and then they would use the telephonist would then plug these cords in and I'd be connected to the person that I wanted to speak to. And that was back on the days of Party Line when everybody knew what was going on. The other day I saw a photo of my great niece and she was sitting on her potty with her iPad and she was communicating with her iPad. And it just kind of went through my mind, oh my gosh, I remember the wind-up telephone. And here is this little girl at the age of 2 using an iPad to communicate. And I just thought, wow, what changes have gone on? And then I thought, well, how have we all been affected by change? Have we embraced change and moved with it? Have we rejected change? Have we stayed right away from it? Have we at first been guarded, but then slowly, because life has dictated that that's what we've had to do, have we then slowly embraced change? Have we taken it and run with it all the way? How have you embraced the changes that have happened in your life? And what are the changes in your life? And you'll see a section at the back of the book about new words that have come into existence in your life. You know, that I just think that's amazing. So many words with common usage that I would never have thought were ever going to happen when I was a child. So much has happened. So this is your opportunity to get all that down so that you can document your life in an emotive way, in a fun way. It's also about, I think you'll see values will grow as you start to write and document your life. You will see the values that you have held near and dear to you in your life, what your parents have instilled into you, what your family life instilled into you, what the community you grew up in instilled into you, what the media, how you reacted to the media. I remember one of my younger brothers speaking to his daughter when she was a teenager. Now, if you're a grandparent, you've had teenagers. And she was perhaps being a little bit difficult at the time, and I remember him saying to her, now you remember where you've come from, young lady, and you remember your values. And I thought, wow, that was a pretty powerful thing to say to a young girl at that time. And I thought, again, this book will document those values. It will write them down, what you've lived, how you lived your life, and why you've come to where you are in your life. And maybe one day someone will pick that up and they will see a connection between themselves and you. Or why did they act in this way? Or had they not thought of it before? But there is somewhere in their subconscious that was hovering around and it's come out. So I see the book in that way as well. Another thing too is family secrets. I remember when I was quite young saying to my mum, will you please explain to me about something that had happened in Tamman? And she said to me, Thea, I can't tell you that because if I do, it will hurt too many people. And I thought, now if she had have written that down, after she passed, I would then know what she was on about. I would then understand what she thought was very important for her to hold and not let go of. She considered that would hurt too many people, therefore she wasn't prepared to share it with me. Now, whether her perception was right or wrong, according to other people, is not of consequence. The consequence is that she saw it as important. And therefore I would like to have known what that was. So again, you may never even share this book. You may write in it and pop it away. And then one day down the track, this will all come out. Another thing is the buzz of seeing someone's handwriting. My grandfather, when I see a document from when he came to Australia and I see his signature, I feel excited. I can't help it. I just think about all these things and about who he was and what he stood for as he made his life in Australia from Croatia. And my grandmother, who couldn't write, and she just simply made a cross. And I just get excited to see her cross. And I just think, just imagine down the track, generations down, when one of your descendants picks up this book and sees your handwriting, feels the energy that you have used, that you have put into this book as you have done your writing, as you have written in the book, or pasted your photos, or done a drawing, or written a riddle, or a family rhyme, or anything that you held near and dear to you as you were growing up, something that meant something to you. And they will see your writing, they will feel your energy. Can you imagine how they would feel? So one day, when they say mum, grandma, granddad, nana, pop, baba, dida, nonna, whatever, there will be something there you'll be able to share your history with them. So all I can say is, please enjoy the book, please enjoy the journey, and congratulations on being a grandparent. Lucky you.